Hello students, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel, that's Akifa's Commerce Classes. So in today's video, we'll study about MCQs, okay, that is multiple choice questions. So now I have been receiving many messages on my Instagram, and also some of you all have commented on my videos asking me to make a video on MCQ series. So as we know that as per the Goa Board of Education, the exam pattern has been changed for the 12th boards, okay. So now they will have only multiple choice questions and no descriptive answers, okay, or no problems that they need to solve. So taking that into consideration, I have just made an attempt to solve some multiple choice questions which I believe are important. So I have also made one video on dissolution of partnership firm, wherein there I solved 25 MCQ questions. So now I will be solving the next 75 questions with you all. And this 75 questions, they are a mixture, or you can say a combination of all the chapters. It means it includes the chapter number 1, then it includes admission, it includes death, retirement, and as well as dissolution, okay. So in this 75 MCQs, I have made an attempt to cover almost everything that I found is important. So with this, I would also request that these are the questions that I find important, okay. Therefore, I request you all to not entirely be dependent only on this set of questions, because they may or may not appear in the exam. So these questions are something that I find to be important, okay. Then also I would like to say that in this series, most of the problems you need to calculate. Like for example, you will have your sacrificing ratio, or your calculation of goodwill, or maybe gain ratio. So for this, I have made separate working notes and I have showed you all in that way, okay. So students, let's start with our first question, that is at the time of admission of a partner, and 4 options are given, okay. The first one is old firm is dissolved, second is old partnership is dissolved, third is both the old firm and partnership is dissolved, and the fourth one is neither of them is dissolved, okay. So students, we have to remember that only the partnership is dissolved, okay. So whenever a new partner is admitted, what happens is only the partnership is dissolved, okay. So moving on to the next one, when a new partner brings his share of goodwill in cash, the amount is debited to which of the following: premium account, cash account, capital account of old partner, and capital account of new partner, okay. So whenever a partner is admitted, okay, and that partner brings a share of goodwill in cash, then we have to remember that the amount of goodwill that the new partner has bought, it will always be debited to the cash account, okay. The third one is at the time of admission, the unrecorded liability will be recorded on first credit side of revaluation account, B debit side of revaluation account, C transferred to old partners capital account, and D transferred to all partners capital account, okay. So here students, what we need to do is that we have to remember that unrecorded liability is something that we did not show earlier in the books of accounts, okay. So in revaluation account, on debit side we record the losses, and on credit side we record the income, okay. So therefore the answer here is B, that is it will be debited to revaluation account, okay. Moving on to the fourth one, we have to the balance of general reserve is to be transferred to the capital account of the partners in which of the following ratio, okay. So we always have to remember that the balance of general reserve will always be distributed on the basis of the old profit sharing ratio, okay. So starting with our fifth MCQ, that is a new partner may be admitted into a partnership with option A with the consent of any one partner, B with the consent of majority of the partner, C with the consent of all partners, and D with the consent of 2/3 of the old partners. So here we have to remember that it is important that the consent of all the partners is there. Only when all the partners agree, only then a new partner can be admitted, okay. Moving on to the sixth one, what are super profits? So we have to remember that super profits are nothing but the actual profit minus the normal profit. So here the answer is A. Next is gaining ratio is used to distribute dash in case of retirement of a partner. So we know that in case of retirement, the goodwill is distributed on the basis of the gain ratio, while in case of admission, the goodwill is distributed on the basis of sacrificing ratio. So here the answer is goodwill. Okay, that is A. Next is, the following are the methods of calculating goodwill. Option A is super profit method, B average profit, C weighted average profit method, and D is capital profit method. So here the answer is D. It means that option A, B, C are correct. It means these are the methods which are used to calculate goodwill, and option D is the wrong answer. Okay, it means capital profit method is not used while calculating goodwill. Okay. So moving on to our 9th question. X and Y are partners in a firm that developed a software for industries. Okay. So X has a minor son Z, and he is a computer wizard. Okay. So can he be admitted to the partnership firm? So the options are yes if X agrees, B yes if Y agrees, C if both of them agree, and D is no, he cannot be admitted. So here the answer is C. It means if both the partners agree, only then X minus son, that is Z, can be admitted into the partnership firm. Okay. Moving on to the 10th one. The maximum numbers of partners as per Indian Companies Act of 2013 are 50. Okay, that is option C. Moving on to the 11th one. Calculate the interest on drawing for the year 31st March 20 if the partner withdrew rupees 15,000 during the year and the rate of interest is given 10% per annum. Okay. So here what I have done is, here I have made working notes, okay, so that you can know how I have calculated the answer. So here we can see that a partner withdrew rupees 15,000. So here I have taken 15,000 into 10%, okay, and I have taken 6/12 because the period when the drawings took place is not mentioned, okay. So whenever the period of drawing is not mentioned, we have to always take 6/12. So here the answer that you will get is 750. So your correct answer is B, that is 750. Okay. Then moving on to the 12th question. When the partners' capital are fixed, their salaries are recorded in which of the following accounts? Okay. So the right answer here is B, that is partners' current account. So Vaman and Mohan were partners in a firm. Their capital were rupees 1,20,000 and 2,40,000. Okay. Then they earned a profit of rupees 42,000 during the year. So the profit share of Mohan will be option A 32,000, B 16,000, C 21,000, and D 12,000. So here as the ratio is not mentioned, so we assume that the profit sharing ratio among both the partners were equal. So according to that, the ratio is 1:1, and therefore the answer is C, that is 21,000. Okay. Moving on to the 14th question. The profit of a firm for last 5 years is 30,000, 20,000, 40,000, 25,000, and 35,000. Okay. So calculate the goodwill at 2 years purchase of average profit of last 5 years. And options that are given are 40,000, 50,000, 80,000, and 60,000. So even for this I have simplified it. So whenever you get a question on goodwill, what you have to do is you have to add all the profits. Now we can see that profits of last 5 years are given to us. So you add all of them and divide by 5 because total 5 years. So when you add all this up, you get 1,50,000. So divided by 5, you will get 30,000. Okay. Then further it's mentioned that calculate the goodwill at 2 years purchase. Okay. So therefore you multiply it by 2. The answer that you got here, 30,000 multiplied by 2. So you get the answer as 60,000. Okay. Therefore your option D is the right answer. Now here you have to remember that just because here it was mentioned that there were profits for last 5 years. In case if you get losses, so you have to subtract the losses from the profit. Okay. So this was our 14th question. Next is, which of the following statements is correct? Okay. Goodwill is a current asset, goodwill is an intangible asset, goodwill is a waste asset, and goodwill is a fictitious asset. So we know that goodwill in simple words is a reputation, and reputation is something that cannot be seen or touched, but something that can only be felt. Therefore here the right answer is intangible asset, that is B. Moving on to the 16th one. The excess of credit side over the debit side in revaluation account is which of the following? Gain, profit, loss, or expense. So whenever the credit side is more than the debit side in revaluation account, that is our profit. So here the answer is B, that is profit. Moving on to our 17th question. Sacrificing ratio is used to distribute dash in case of admission. So we know that we use sacrificing ratio to find or to calculate goodwill. So here the answer is B, that is goodwill. Okay. Our next question is, A and B are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio 5:3. So on admission of C, the new profit sharing ratio between A, B and C is 7:5:4. So we need to find the sacrificing ratio. Okay. So for this also I have given a working note. Okay. First we need to write the old ratio of both the partners, that is 5:3. Next is the new ratio of A, B and C, 7, 5 and 4. Now this is the formula for calculating sacrificing ratio, that is old ratio minus new ratio. So A will be 5/8 minus 7/16. How did I get this 8? 5 plus 3. How I got this 16? 7 plus 5 plus 4. Then cross multiply. You always start multiplying like this. 5 into 16 will give you 80. 7 into 8, 56. Divide by, how I got 128? 16 into 8. So 80 minus 56, 24 by 128. Okay. Then here for B we have 3 divided by 8 minus 5 by 16, which we get as 48 minus 14 divided by 128, and the last is 8 divided by 128. So here we only have to concentrate on the numerator. So the numerator is 24 and 8. We have to see that this 24 and 8, are they divisible by one number? So it is yes. 8 ones are 8, 8 threes are 24. Therefore this is our sacrificing ratio. So this answer 3:1, we get it at option A. So option A is the right answer. Okay. So moving on to the next question, that is 19th one. Okay. It says that A and B and C, they are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio 4:2:1. So C retires. The new profit sharing ratio between A and B will be which of the following? So students, this is a very easy question. Okay, whenever in a question you have been given only one ratio, then it becomes easier. Like for example, here we have 4, 2 and 1. So who retires? C retires. Okay, so you directly have to cancel his share. Like I have shown here the calculations. There are 3 partners sharing ratio, the ratio 4:2:1. So who retires? C. So the remaining ratio is 4:2. So if C, if this can be divisible, 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4. So the new ratio is 2:1. Therefore the answer is A. But in case of 18, what happened was we had 2 ratios, C. Then when we have 2 ratios, we have to find the sacrificing ratio. But in this case, we had only 1 ratio. So what we have to do is, whichever partner retires, just cut his share, and whatever ratio is remaining, that is your new ratio. Okay. So moving on to the 20th question. On retirement of a partner, goodwill will be credited to the capital account of which of the following? So always remember that whenever a partner retires, okay, so the goodwill will be credited to the retiring partner's account. Okay, always. So in retirement, the goodwill is credited to the retiring partner's account. Okay, so here our answer is A. So moving forward to question number 21. The amount due to a deceased partner shown by his capital account is transferred to the remaining partner, the executor's loan, the deceased partner's account, or the deceased partner's loan account. So students, we have to remember that while we are solving problems on that, any amount that is due to the deceased partner, we show it in the executor's loan account. Okay, always remember this. So here our answer is B. Okay. Then moving on to the 22nd question, that is Reena, Seema and Leena were partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio 3:2:1. So Leena died on 25th June 2020 and the profit for the year ending 31st March 2020 was rupees 45,000. So here we need to calculate Leena's share. Okay. So whenever we get such kind of questions, what we need to do is we need to first solve it. See. So here we have 3 partners, Reema, Seema and Leena. So their ratio is 3, 2 and 1. So among them, Leena died. So her share was how much? 1/6. How did I know? Because Reema is first. So this 3 belongs to Reema, this 2 belongs to Seema and this 1 belongs to Leena. So this is Leena's share. Okay. Now When did Lina die? Lina died on 25th June. Okay. And when is our new accounting year? It starts from April. So the month of April, May and June. Okay. So 3 months, April, May and June. So that's why I have written 3 by 12. Why by 12? Because the total amount of the total months are 12. I hope you all understood how I got this 12. It's written June. So April full month, May full month and June almost full month. Okay. And the profits were rupees 45,000. Therefore the Lina's share will be the profit multiplied by her share, it is 1 by 6, multiplied for the period till which she was there in the firm, that is 3 by 12. So you get 1875. So your answer is D, that is rupees 1875. Moving on to the 23rd question. On that of a partner, the increase in the value of liability is debited to profit and loss account, debited to revaluation account, credited to profit and loss account or credited to revaluation account. Okay. So we have to remember that whenever a partner dies and if there is increase in the value of liability, then it will always be debited to revaluation account. Okay. Any increase in liability is always recorded on the debit side. Okay. Question 24 is, at the time of dissolution, the liabilities appearing in the balance sheet are transferred to the debit side of bank account, credit side of bank account, debit side of realization account and D, credit side of realization account. So here our answer is option D, that is credit side of realization account. Okay. So the liabilities that are appearing in the balance sheet are shown on the credit side. Okay. Because we start realization account with 2 sundry assets and by sundry liabilities. Therefore the liabilities are recorded on the credit side. Okay. Moving forward to question number 25. In the absence of any information regarding the settlement of third party liabilities, such liabilities are assumed to be paid, assumed to be option 1 not paid, B paid in full, C paid at discount and D none of the above. So here the answer is B, that is they are assumed to be paid in full. Okay, so our correct answer is option B, that is paid in full. Moving on to the question number 26. The expenses on dissolution paid by a partner must be debited to which of the following? Okay. So here the answer is realization account. So we always have to remember that whenever the dissolution expenses are paid by any partner, we always record it on the debit side of the realization account. Okay, always. In any problem, whenever you see that any amount of dissolution expenses are paid by the partner, it will always be recorded on the debit side of the realization account. Okay. Moving on to question number 27. Okay. So on dissolution of a firm, the book value of stock as per balance sheet was rupees 32,000. Okay, and 50% of the stock realized at 120% of the book value and the balance stock realized at full. So the amount of stock credited to realization account. So students, this kind of sums are very tricky when you read it once. So what you can do is we have to prepare a working note for it. Okay, as you read you have to write it. Okay, so that it becomes easier. First of all, it said that the stock is 32,000. Okay, the total is 32,000, that is 100% stock. Okay, then it said that 50% of the stock, so just stop here, 50%. So what you do, divide this into two half, 50 and 50. So the half of 32 is 16,000 and 16,000. Okay, then further it said 50% is realized at 120%, then full stop. Okay, so this 50%, you take this amount, this 16,000 is realized at 120%. So you calculate 16,000 multiplied by 120 by 100. You will get 19,200. Okay. Then you read, and the balance stock. So which is our balance stock? This is our balance stock. Why? Because here we are calculating 120% or 50% only. And this is the other half. Okay. So the amount of stock credited to the realization account. So here they are asking us the total amount. So here the total amount is this 19,200, which we got by calculating 120% on 16,000, and this is 16,000, which is the balance amount. So the total amount that we will record on the credit side of realization account is 19,200 plus 16,000, that is 35,200. Okay. See, first you write 32,000, then divide it in 50%, 50%. You will get 16,000 on both the sides. Then it's mentioned that 50% of the stock was realized at 120%. Therefore 16,000 into 120% will give you 19,200. And at last it's mentioned that the amount of stock credited to the realization account. So both these amounts will be credited, 19,200 and 16,000. So at the end you just add these two amounts, you will get this answer. Therefore our right option is option A, that is 35,200. Okay. Moving on to our question number 28. If no agreement is made by partners, then the interest on loan will be given at which of the following? Okay. So students, we have to remember that whenever there is no agreement that is being made between the partners, the interest on loan will always be given at 6%. Okay. So students, whenever you enter into a partnership, it is important that you enter into an agreement. Okay. And most of the partners prefer to have it in return. Okay. But it is not a compulsion. You can have it orally also. But then what happens is that whenever you don't have anything in return, it does not serve as an evidence in the court of law. Therefore, it is important that your agreement should be in writing. Okay. So whenever you have not made any agreement as such, even then the interest on loan that will be given will be at 6% per annum. Therefore, your right answer is 28. Moving on to our question number 29. In a partnership firm, the liability of all the partners is unlimited. The answer is unlimited because whether it's a sole proprietor or a partnership, the liabilities of all the partners or the single sole trader is always unlimited. Okay, always means always. So provisions of table dash are applicable in the absence of partnership deed. So whenever we do not have a partnership deed, then there are certain provisions of one of the tables. So which provisions of which table are applicable whenever a partnership deed is not made or whenever a partnership deed is absent? The options are A, B, C and D. So here the right answer is option A. Okay, that is provisions of table A. Okay. Next is question 31. In the absence of partnership deed, partners are entitled to receive which of the following? Okay. So here the right answer is B, that is interest on loan. So in the I think 28th question we discussed that the interest on loan can be given at 6% per annum. Okay. Only when there is absence of partnership deed, only the interest on loan can be given. Interest on capital, salary, commission, you cannot give them because there is nothing that is mentioned in the partnership deed. Only one thing you can give, that is interest on loan, that too at 6% per annum. Okay. Question 32 is, when the question is silent about the date of withdrawal of drawing, then the interest will be calculated for how many months? So when the question, it means whenever you have a question in your exam and the date of withdrawal of drawing, it means the date when the drawings or when the withdrawal was taken place, it's not mentioned. So what percentage or how many months will you calculate? So the answer is 6. It means whenever you have a question and the date on which the amount was withdrawn is not mentioned, then what you will do is you will take as 6 months. That will be 6 by 12. Okay, this is question number 32. So moving on to our question number 33. Okay, so Dev withdrew rupees 10,000 on 15th day of every month. Okay, so the interest on drawing was to be charged at 12% per annum. Calculate the interest on Dev's drawing. First of all, I would like to clarify that first I have written 10,000, then I wrote as 120,000. See, it's written that Dev had withdrawn rupees 10,000 every month. Okay, so we have in total 12 months. So 10,000 into 12 is 120,000. Okay, you have to calculate like that. Then we have to see that he has withdrawn on the 15th of every month. It means in between every month. Okay. So here whenever it's mentioned that any partner has withdrawn on the 15th day of every month or in between of the month, then the month that you will take is 6 by 12. Okay, always, because you have to remember that whenever any partner withdraws in between of the month, it will always be 6 by 12. So here I have shown the calculation, 1,20,000. How did I get this? 10,000 multiplied by 12, because it is every month. So total months are 12, 10,000 into 12. So 1,20,000 into 12%, because it's mentioned here, into 6 by 12. So I got it as 7,200. Option C here is right. Okay. Next is Amita, a partner in a firm, withdrew rupees 7,000 at the beginning of each quarter. For how many months would interest on drawings be charged? Okay. So first of all, students, you have to remember that the number of months that you will take when it is in the beginning of the month or quarter, in the beginning of in the middle of a quarter or a month, and at the end of a quarter or month. So for quarter, I have just written it down here. Whenever it's mentioned in the problem beginning of a quarter, you will take 7.5 by 12. When it's mentioned middle of quarter, you will take 6 by 12, and at the end of quarter it will be 4.5 by 12. So here the question says 7,000. So here we have to just see for how many months it's charged, and it is withdrew at the beginning of each quarter. So beginning of each quarter is 7.5. So your right answer is option C, that is 7.5 months. Okay. So moving on to our 35th question. Raj and Seema started a partnership firm on 1st July 2018. They agreed that Seema was entitled a commission of rupees 10,000 on net profit after charging Raj's salary of rupees 2,500 per quarter, okay, and Seema's commission. So the net profit before charging Raj's salary and Seema's commission for the year ended 31st March 2019 was rupees 2,27,500. Okay. So when you read this, it's kind of confusing in the start. So again, I've made this working note. So let's begin with net profit before salary and commission. Okay, the net profit it is being given to us is 227,500. Okay, so 2,27,500. Then we need to calculate Raj's salary. Okay, so Raj is given salary of rupees 2,500 per quarter. Okay, so we have to multiply it by 3. Okay, 3 times, like 4, 4, 4. So 2,500 into 3, it will give us 7,500. It's said that it is given before charging. Okay, so first what you do, you just take 7,500 and just subtract this from 227,500. So net profit after Raj's salary but before Seema's commission is this much, 2,20,000. I hope you all got this. How I got this amount? 227,500 minus 7,500. Okay, then we have to calculate Seema's commission, because here they have said the net profit before charging Raj's salary and Seema's commission. Okay, so before calculating it was this much. Now after calculating Seema's commission, we need to see how much it will come to. So here it's given 10%. So 10% of 2,20,000. So here the answer comes 20,000. So here the correct option is D. Okay, first we just need to write this 227,500. Then Raj's salary. Here it's clearly mentioned that they agreed that Seema was entitled to commission of 10% on net profit after charging Raj's salary. Therefore, we have taken this 7,500, subtract it from 227,500, you will get this amount, and calculate 10% on that, you will get 20,000. Therefore, correct answer is option D, that is rupees 20,000. Next is question number 36. Ram and Shyam are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio equally. Okay. So Ram withdrew rupees 1,000 per month regularly on the first day of every month during the year 2013 and 14 for personal expenses. If interest on drawing is charged at 5% per annum, okay, what will be the interest on drawing of Ram? Okay, so first of all we have to see that it is 1,000 per month. Okay, so we need to multiply it by 12. So here I have my working notes. It's said that he has withdrawn rupees 1,000 per month on the first of every month. So in the beginning of the month you have to take 6.5 by 12. Okay, then it said monthly, therefore 1,000 into 12, which will be 12,000, and the interest it is given is 5%. Therefore 12,000 into 5% into 6.5 by 12, it will give you 325. So your right answer is D, that is 325. I am sure that students, for this MCQ exams you will get a lot of questions on calculation of interest on drawing. So it is important that you all learn the number of months that you need to take when it is in the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of a quarter or a month. Okay, so just go through this like very thoroughly. Let's start with our question number 37. Verma and Kaul are partners in a firm. The partnership agreement provides that the interest on drawing should be charged at 6% per annum. So Verma withdraws rupees 2,000 per month starting from April 2013 to March 2014. Kaul withdraws rupees 3,000 per quarter starting from April 1, 2013. So what will be the interest of the following? So students, here we have to concentrate that Verma has withdrawn monthly and Kaul has withdrawn quarterly. Okay, so let's start with the working note. So here we can see that Verma has withdrawn at the beginning of the month. So it will be 6.5 by 12. Kaul at the beginning of a quarter, so this will be 7.5 by 12. Then next you have to see that Verma has withdrawn 2,000 for every month. So 2,000 into 12 will be 24,000 into 6%. It's mentioned here 6% into 6.5 by 12. So the answer is 780 for Verma. Now for Kaul, he has withdrawn 3000 per quarter. Okay, so quarter means 4, so 3000 into 4, so that's how I got 12,000 into 6% into 7.5 by 12, so 780 and 450. So here our right answer is option A, that is 780 and 450. Okay, moving on to our 38th question. Raj withdraws rupees 2500 at the end of each month. The partnership deed provides for charging the interest on drawing at 12% per annum. What will be Raj's interest on drawing for the year ending 31st March 2013? So we have to see that again Raj is withdrawn for every month. Okay, so first what we need to do is 2500 multiplied by 12, so that will be 30,000, and drawings at the end of each month, end is always 5.5 by 12, therefore 30,000 into 12%, this thing into 5.5 by 12. How I got 30,000? 2500 for 1 month, so into 12 will be this much. So when you calculate, you get it as 1650. Therefore your right answer is option A, that is 1650. Okay, then moving on to the 39th question. In the event of dissolution of a partnership firm, the provision for doubtful debts is transferred to which of the following? Realization account, partners capital account, sundry debtors account, and option D, none of the above. Okay, so here the correct answer is A, that whenever there is dissolution of partnership firm, the doubtful debts are transferred to the realization account. Okay, moving on to the question number 40. At the end of dissolution of a firm, the balance of profit and loss account shown in the asset side of the balance sheet of the firm is transferred to which of the following account? Okay, so here the answer is C, that is capital account of the partners. So students, here one thing you can remember, that whenever in the problem, okay, if you have profit and loss account mentioned in the question, if it is mentioned on the credit side, okay, then it will always come on the debit side of partners capital account. Okay, and if profit and loss account is mentioned on the debit side of the problem, that is the balance sheet, then it will always come on the credit side of partners capital account. Okay, just remember this. So moving on to the 41st question. On dissolution, the final balance of capital accounts are transferred to which of the following account? So here the answer is B, that is the final account, the final answer is transferred to cash account. Okay, always. So moving on to question number 42. The partnership deed is also known by prospectus, articles of association, principles of partnership, and articles of partnership. So here the right answer is articles of partnership. It means partnership deed is also known as articles of partnership. Question 43. For the firm, the interest on drawing is a capital payment, an expense, a capital receipt, or an income. Okay, so here the right answer is D, that is an income, because whenever any partner withdraws a certain amount of money, that is known as drawing, so he has to pay interest on that, and the interest goes to the company, therefore it's the profit to the company. Okay, and therefore it's an income. Moving to question number 44. For the firm, the interest on capital is what? Is it a capital payment? Is it a capital receipt, or loss, or income? So here the right answer is option C, that is it is a loss. Okay, it is a loss because the company has to pay interest. Okay, so whenever the company has to pay something, then it is definitely a loss to the company. Okay, so moving on to question number 45. So X and Y are partners who share their profits and losses in the ratio 3:2. Their capitals are 2 lakhs and 1 lakh respectively. Interest on capital is allowed at 8% per annum. The firm earned a profit of rupees 60,000 at 31st March 2019. So we just need to calculate the interest on capital. Okay, so firstly we have to just write the interest on capital. For the purpose of calculating interest on capital, we need to write the capital of X and Y. X is 2 lakhs, Y is 1 lakh. Then the percentage is given 8%. So we calculate 8% on 2 lakhs and 8% on 1 lakh. You get as 16,000 and 8,000. Hence your answer is option A, that is X 16,000 and Y 8,000. Okay. Moving on to question number 46. So goodwill is to be calculated at 1.5 year purchase of average profit of last 5 years. Okay. The firm earned profits during the 3 years as 20,000, 18,000 and 9,000 and also suffered losses of 2,000 and 5,000 in the last 2 years. So we need to calculate the amount of goodwill. So I have solved one such problem, but in that problem we only had profits and we did not have losses. So in this sum we also have losses. So let's see how we are supposed to solve this. First of all, you add all the profits, 20,000, 18,000 and 9,000. Subtract the losses. Losses are 2,000 and 5,000. Okay. So when you do that, you get 40,000 divided by 5. Why 5? Because it's of total 5 years. So you get 5, when you divide 40,000 by 5, you get as 8,000. 5 ones are 5, 5 eights are 40. Now here it's clearly mentioned that goodwill is to be calculated at 1.5 year purchase. Okay. Therefore, this answer that you got here, it has to be multiplied by 1.5. Okay. So you get it as rupees 12,000. So your correct answer is option A, that is 12,000. Always remember that first you need to divide by the total number of years and then always multiply the answer that you got here with the average profit. Okay. So that is 1.5 years of purchase of average profit. So your answer is 12,000. So moving on to question number 47. The amount of goodwill is paid by the new partner for payment of capital, for sharing profit, for purchase of asset, and D, none of the above. So here the answer is B. It means that the amount of goodwill is paid by the new partner. Why? Because he is sharing the profit. Therefore, the new partner pays the amount of goodwill. Okay. In which ratio the cash brought in for goodwill by the new partner is shared by the existing partners. So whenever new partner enters into the firm, the cash that is bought in for goodwill by the new partner, it is shared by the existing partners in the sacrificing ratio. Okay. Always you have to remember that the goodwill will always be calculated on the basis of the sacrificing ratio. Okay. So your answer is option C. So next is, when do we calculate sacrificing ratio? We know that sacrificing ratio is always calculated at the time of admission of a partner. Why not at the time of retirement? Because here no partner is sacrificing any amount. At the time of retirement, there is gain ratio. We ascertain gain ratio because one partner retires and the remaining two partners gain a particular amount. Therefore, it's gain ratio. And at the time of admission, the old partners, they have to sacrifice or forgo a share that they had. Therefore, sacrificing ratio is ascertained at the time of admission. Okay. So, moving to the question number 50. A and B are partners in a firm sharing profits and losses in the ratio 3:2. They admit C as a new partner for 1/3 share in the profit of the firm. The new profit sharing ratio of A, B and C would be which of the following? So for this you have to calculate. Okay. So in this particular sum you have to calculate the new ratio. Okay. So first of all we need to take this ratio 1/3 share. Okay. Then you always have to consider this as 1. That is the remainder. Okay. Always. So whenever you have to find a new ratio, always take 1. Okay. 1 minus the new partner's share, 1/3. Then cross multiply. 3 ones are 3 and this minus 1/3 is the same. So 3 minus 1 will give you 2/3. Okay. Then let's calculate A's share. First of all take this 2/3. Now A is first, so his share will be 3/5. How I got 5? 3 plus 2, so 3/5. So 2 into 3, 2/3 into 3/5. So 3 2s are 6, 5 3s are 15. Then B will be 2/3 into this 2/5. So 2 2s are 4, 5 3s are 15. Then for C you have to take this answer 1/3. You do not have to take this. Okay, always take this. So 1/3. Now how I got this 5? Now when you see the denominator, here you have 15, here you have 15. So here also you want 15, but you need to multiply this 3 by one such number that will give you 15. So only 3 into 5 will give you 15. So when you put 5 in the denominator, it is also important you put it in the numerator. So 1 5s are 5, 3 5s are 15. So you always need to concentrate on the numerator, that is 6, 4 and 5. So your new share is 6, 4 and 5. Therefore your answer is option D. Okay. Moving on to the question number 51. A and B share profits and losses in the ratio 3:4. So C was admitted for 1/5 share. The new profit sharing ratio will be which of the following? So this is again a similar kind of a sum. So let's see the working note. So C's share is 1/5. Then I said that we need to take 1 whenever we need to calculate the new ratio. So 1 minus 1. Then 5 into 1 will give you 5. 5 ones are 5 minus 1/5. So 5 minus 1 divided by 5 will give you 4 upon 5. So A share will be 4 upon 5 divided by 3 plus 4, that will be 7. So 3 by 7 multiply by 3 by 7. So 12 by 35. For B it will be again 4 by 5 multiply by 4 by 7. And for C, now we can see that we have 35 and 35. So for 5 we need to multiply with such number that will give us 35. So 7 and 7. When you put one number in the denominator, put the same on the numerator also. So here the answer is 7. So our new ratio is 12, 16 and 7. So your right answer is B. So students, definitely you will have one sum or one problem on calculation of new ratio, gain ratio or sacrificing ratio. Okay. Moving on to question number 52. So A and B are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio 3:1. So C is admitted into the partnership for 1/4 share. So here we need to calculate the sacrificing ratio. Okay. So in this sum, what we need to do is we need to find a sacrificing ratio. So in admission we know that we always calculate sacrificing ratio. Whenever a partner enters into the firm, the ratio that we calculate is which one? It is sacrificing ratio. And in case of retirement, the ratio that we calculate is gain ratio. Okay. So for this, what we need to do is, first of all, we need to know the formula of sacrificing ratio. Okay. The formula of sacrificing ratio is old ratio minus new ratio. So according to that formula, we need to calculate the answer for this question. Okay. So what I will do is, I will not solve this answer. I will not solve this problem. I want you all to solve this for me. Okay. And this answer that you all derive, please put it down in the comment section. Okay. This is a very easy sum. Okay. I am telling you the formula, that is old ratio minus new ratio. Okay. So with this, you need to find this. Okay. So moving on to our next question. Goodwill can be sold only when option A, entire business is sold, option B, at the time of merger, option C, new partner is admitted, and D, business earns profit. Okay. So here the right answer is A. So goodwill can be sold only when the entire business is sold. Okay. So moving to question number 54. A and B are partners in a firm sharing profits and losses in the ratio of 5:3. So C is admitted as a new partner for 1/7 share, and the new sharing ratio will be 4:2:1. So here we need to calculate sacrificing ratio. Okay. So here we are given two things, old ratio and new ratio. So we need to find sacrificing ratio. So we know the formula for sacrificing ratio, old minus new ratio. So here 5/8. Why 8? 5 plus 3. 5/8 minus 4/7. 4 plus 2 plus 1. 4/7. And cross multiply. 5 7 is 35 minus 4 into 8 is 32/56. So you get 3/56. Again B is 3/8 minus 2/7, which gives us 3 7 is 21 minus 16/56, which is 5/56. So we need to concentrate on the numerator, that is 3/5. Your answer is 3/5. It is option A. Okay. Next is question number 55. What do you mean by super profit? Okay. So what is the formula for super profit? Okay. So super profit is actually average profit minus the normal profit. Okay. Always the average profit minus normal profit is super profit. Okay. Your answer is B. Question number 56 is, what will be the value of goodwill at twice the average of last 3 years profit, and profit of last 3 years are given as 4,000, 5,000 and 6,000. So again what we need to do is just calculate the profit. 4,000 plus 5,000 plus 6/3, you get 15,000/3, which comes to 5,000. Then here it's mentioned twice the average profit. So multiplied by 2 you get 10,000. So here your answer is 10,000. It is option B. Okay. Then moving on to question number 57. So question number 57 is, goodwill of firm A and B is valued at rupees 30,000. Okay. It is appearing in the books at rupees 12,000. So C is admitted for 1/4 share. So what amount is he supposed to bring as goodwill? So this is very simple. First of all, it's mentioned here that goodwill is 30,000. Okay. And C is admitted for 1/4 share. Therefore, what we need to do is 30,000 into 1/4. So when you do 30,000 into 1/4, when you calculate, you will get it as 7,500. So here what we need to do is 30,000 into 1 by 4. It will give you 7500. Okay, because new partner is admitted for 1 upon 4 share. Okay, this is question number 57. Moving on to question number 58. After retirement of a partner, the share of the remaining partners will increase, decrease, not change or postpone. Okay, so here the right answer is A. That is, after retirement of one partner, the share of remaining partners will definitely increase because they are gaining something. Okay, so moving on to question number 59. At the time of death of a partner, which of the following account is prepared? Okay, so whenever a partner dies, then we have to remember that the account that is prepared is representative account. Okay, always. So we prepare representative account at the time of death of a partner. Okay, then next is question number 60. That is, the old profit sharing ratio among Raj, Shyam and Hira were 2:2:1. Okay, so the new profit sharing ratio after Shyam's retirement is 3:2. So we need to calculate the gain ratio. Okay, so I think this is the first sum on calculation of gain ratio. So we should first know the formula of gain ratio. Okay, the formula of gain ratio is new ratio minus old ratio. Okay, so here we can see that old ratio is 2:2:1. So among them, who retires is Shyam. So Shyam is in between, therefore the remaining partners share is 2:1. So we know the formula new ratio minus old ratio. So new ratio will be 3/5. How I got 3/5? First we need to calculate the total. Okay, so here it is mentioned it is 3:2. So 3 plus 2, 5. So 3 upon 5 minus 2/5. Okay, 2 plus 2 plus 1. This will give me 5/25. Now for Hira again 2 plus 3 will be 5. So 2/5 minus 1/5. Why I did not take 2? Because this 2 Mr. Shyam has retired. So 1/5. Then cross multiply and you will get as 5. Now you got both the answers 5 and 5. So you can divide it further. 5 ones are 5, 5 ones are 5. So what is our answer? 1:1. So this is your answer. So students, always remember that if the final answer, if you can divide it, then please divide it. Like for example, if you get the answer 6:2 and then you see that this particular answer is not mentioned in the problem, then you just divide it. 2 ones are 2 and 2 threes are 6. Maybe this answer will be there in the options. Okay, so this is question number 60. Moving on to question number 61. The executors of deceased partner will be paid interest on amount due from the date of death of a partner at which percentage? Okay, I will repeat the question again. The executor of the deceased partner will be paid interest on amount due from the date of death of a partner at which percentage? Okay, so always remember that he will be paid at 6%. Okay, the answer is 6%. So the option is B. Moving on to question number 62. On the death of a partner, the amount of joint life insurance policy is credited to capital account of which of the following? So here the correct answer is option B. That is, all partners including the deceased partner. Okay, so this is an important thing that you will have to remember, that whenever there is a partner who dies, then if they had a joint life policy, okay, so that joint life insurance policy, it will be credited to the capital account of all the partners, even the partner who is no more. Okay, always remember this. So here our answer is B. Moving on to question number 63. B, C and D are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio 7, 5 and 4. So D died on 30th June 2016 and profit for the year was 12,000. How much share in profits for the period 1st April to 30th June will be credited to D's account? So again, first we need to write the ratio, that is 7, 5 and 4. You write it here. Then see which partner has died. D has died. So this 4. You have to, so this 4 is his share. Whose share? The partner's share who has died. 4/16. Okay. Now the profit for the period was for 3 months. How I know it is for 3 months? It's mentioned April to June. So start from April, 1st April, so the full month of April, then May until 30th June. It means entire month of June. So 3/12. And the profit was rupees, how much? It was rupees 12,000. So 12,000 into 4/16 into 3/12. So when you calculate this, you get the answer 750. Therefore your option B is the right answer. Okay. So moving on to question number 64. A, B and C are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio 2:2:1. Okay. So C died on 31st March 2016. The profit of the financial year ending 31st March 2016 is 64,000. Okay. So the share of deceased partner in the profit will be option A 9,200, option B 12,800, then option C 3,100, and last is 6,100. Okay. So this sum, it will also be calculated in the similar way, okay, like how I have solved the previous one. So in this problem, as we can see that C has died on 31st March 2016. It means C was present for the entire year. So now here what we'll do is, we have to take 64,000 and multiply it with the C's share. So C's share is 1. So 1, 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 1, 5. So 1 upon 5. So here what we need to do is 64,000 into 1 by 5. Okay. And the answer that you will get will be 12,800. Okay. So here what I have basically done is, we can see that he has died on 31st March and the profit was rupees 64,000 on 31st March. So here we do not have to calculate any month. Okay. So when you do not have to calculate any month, what you have to do is directly multiply by the partner who has died, his share. His share here is 1 by 5. So multiply it with 64,000. So 64,000 into 1 by 5 will give you how much? 12,800. So your answer is B, that is 12,800. Okay. Moving on to question number 65. The joint life policy of a partner is a dash account. Okay. So students, we have to always remember that it is an asset. Okay. It is an asset to all the partners. Okay. So always whenever you get a question on joint life policy, remember that the joint life policy is taken on the partners and it is always an asset. Okay. Question number 66 is, joint life policy amount received by a firm is distributed in which of the following ratio? So the answer is, it is distributed in the old profit sharing ratio always. Okay. Because the reason is that, because if there is a partner who has died, okay, then whatever amount that you receive, it will always be distributed among the old ratio. Okay, even if the partner is no more, even then it is important that you divide or distribute the amount in the old profit sharing ratio only. So here the answer is C. So moving on to question number 67. So there are three partners A, B and C who share their profits and losses in the ratio 3, 2 and 1. So they had a joint life policy of rupees 3 lakhs and the surrender value was rupees 90,000. So among these partners, C dies. So what is the share of each of the partner in joint life policy? So it may seem to be a little tricky, but you have to know your theory. I just said that any amount you received from the joint life policy, it is divided among the partners in the old profit sharing ratio. So here they have just given you that partner C has died, so that you get confused. You have to know that this 3 lakh will be divided in this ratio only. So here accordingly I have prepared the working note. So the ratio is 3, 2 and 1. So 3 plus 2 5, 5 plus 1 6. So 3 by 6 into 3 lakh will be 1 lakh 50. Then 2 by 6 into 3 lakh will be 1 lakh. And 1 by 6 into 3 will be 50,000. So your answer will be option C, that is 1 lakh 50, 1 lakh and 50,000. Students, you always have to be very thorough with your theory. Okay, once you know your theory really well, then you can solve any sort of problems. Okay. Moving on to question number 68. On death of a partner, what does a firm get for joint life policy taken over all the partners? Okay. So the firm gets the policy amount. Okay. Now we know that the firm takes the joint life policy for all the partners. So what does the firm get in return? The firm gets the policy amount. Okay. So your right answer is A. Moving on to question number 69. A, B and C are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio 3 to 1. On 1st March 2016, C died and the average profit of last 4 years was 72,000. Okay. So now students, firstly what we need to do is, we need to calculate C's share. We need to see what was C's share. Then we need to see when he died. Okay. So here I have a working note. So here I have taken 72,000, which is the profit, into 2 by 12. Why did I take 2 by 12? Because he died on 1st March. So I cannot take March. So I have to take only January and February. Okay, 2. And why I am taking January and February? Because it's mentioned that books are closed on 31st December. So we have to take January and February. So 2 months. So 2 by 12 into 1 by 6. How did I get this 1 by 6? This is C's share. Okay. So C's share is 1 by 6. So 72,000 into 2 by 12 into 1 by 6 will give you 2,000. So your correct answer is option A, that is 2,000. Okay. Moving on to question number 70. What are the methods of calculating share of deceased partner in the profit of a firm up to the date of death? Okay. So here you have to remember the correct answer is both A and B. It means there are two methods which are used in order to calculate the deceased partner's share in the profit of the firm, and those two methods are time basis and sales basis. Okay. Sometimes you may get it individually also, but you have to remember this both methods are used. So moving on to question number 71. On death of a partner, his executor is paid the profit of the deceased partner for the relevant period. Okay. This payment is recorded in profit and loss account. Okay. So which of the profit and loss account this amount is recorded? So the correct answer here is C. That is, it is recorded in the suspense account. Okay, always remember that whenever a partner dies, so his executor is paid a certain amount of money, that is the profit. Okay, and this is recorded in the suspense account. Okay, so question number 72 is joint life policy may be taken by the firm on the lives of all the partners jointly, or all the partners separately, or all the employees of a firm. So here the correct answer is option D. Okay, because a firm may take the joint life policy on all the partners jointly, or it can take individually also, separately also. Okay, so the right answer is D. Moving on to question number 73. So A, B and C are partners in the firm. B retires and the remaining partners decide to share the profits of the new firm in the ratio 5:4. So what will be the gaining ratio? Okay, so I want that you all answer this question. I have already solved two sums on this calculation of gain ratio. I want that you all solve this sum and tell me the answer in the comment section. Okay. Moving on to question number 74. At the time of retirement of a partner, the firm gets from the insurance company against the joint policy taken jointly for all the partners. Okay. So here the answer is B. It means surrender value. So what is surrender value? So at the time of retirement of a partner, the firm receives an amount from the insurance company against the joint policy taken jointly for all the members, for all the partners. So we know that the firm takes a joint policy. Okay, the joint policy can be taken separately for the partners or jointly. So whenever the firm gets a certain sum of money from the insurance company against the policy that has been taken, then what it is known as? It is known as surrender value. That is option B. So you have to remember what is surrender value. Okay, and then next is question 75. So as per which accounting standard only purchased goodwill can be shown in the balance sheet? So according to which standard only the goodwill which is purchased can be shown in the balance sheet? So here the answer is accounting standard 26. Okay, so according to accounting standard 26, only the goodwill which is purchased can be shown in the balance sheet. Okay, so with this we have finished covering all our 75 multiple choice questions. I hope that I have made the questions a little easier for you all. I hope that at least some of the difficulties that you all had, your difficulties have been solved after watching my video. And also there are some questions, like around 2 or 3 questions, which I have not solved because they were repetitive, and I have asked you all to solve and give me the answers. Therefore please put the answers in the comment section. And also if you liked my video, then please like, share and subscribe to my channel. And also if there are any feedbacks or suggestions that you all want me to incorporate into my videos, then please put it down in the comment section. Thank you.